What? I didn't know that. Welcome, everybody, to the 12 o'clock show with just Mayor Joe. Franklin County Commissioner Erica Crawley is actually, my guess is she's actually enjoying herself in the windy city of Chicago this year. Pretty sure you can figure out why she's there. So it's a great opportunity for her to go. So you just are stuck with me. Sorry. Have a lot of information today, and I will answer as many questions as I can, but there's a lot of things going on. So first off, we're going to start with just kind of an update on Reynoldsburg City Schools. Congratulations, teachers, and my apologies, students, for celebrating your first day, or most of you celebrating your first day with Reynoldsburg City Schools. And a shout out to all teachers all the way throughout who are watching this, my former colleagues at Beechcroft and everywhere else that are headed back to school today. There is something about the first day of school. It is that a little bit of apprehension, a little bit of dread, a little bit of anxiety. But ultimately, it's always a lot of fun. There's always going to be something going on. So best of luck to everybody out there. I'm sure you're going to have a great year. We all know that Reynoldsburg is going to have a levy, and they've got a number of educational meetings coming up over the next couple of weeks. The first one is going to be actually next week on the 28th at the Reynoldsburg branch of the Public Library. It's going to be from 6 to 7. And this is your opportunity to go ask a whole bunch of questions from the district's representatives about the levy and how that would impact everyone. As a reminder, it is 6.65 mils or $233 per $100,000 of value. If you want to know how that impacts your home specifically, go ahead and check out the Franklin County, Licking County, or Fairfield County auditors pages, and you can check that out. The last time we had a wonderful kind of conversation about this, I said I was going to be looking at some of the local apartment buildings and kind of giving you an idea of what they pay in terms of property taxes, because they do pay property taxes, and I think it's unfair when people say that they don't pay property taxes. They actually do. So I'm going to use one that's not too far away from me. This is Millstream Village right on Taylor Road. It has 216 units, and each unit pays approximately $700 and change for school taxes for about $752,000 per year. So yes, indeed, they do pay school taxes, and each week from here on, I'll kind of highlight a couple of them just to let everybody know what that kind of process is. You got the Q&A there, so there's a lot of things with that. You've got a chat with the treasurer and superintendent on October 3rd at Raider Nutrition from 9 to 11. Right after that, they're going to head over to the Reynoldsburg Community Church, and they're going to be speaking with the Reynoldsburg Chamber of Commerce. And then on October 17th, they have another one from 11:30 to 12:30 at the Reynoldsburg Senior Center. So there's a lot of cool things there. As always, there's other opportunities to support the school district. One is the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation Gala. That's going to be Thursday, September 19th. Believe it or not, that's not that far away. There's going to be an auction of all sorts of cool prizes, a student art sale. Early bird pricing is very simple. It's $55 now. It's $60 the day of, or $75 at the door. But usually they have food and some wonderful beverages, and it's a great event. You can get dressed up and have a lot of fun. So we do encourage that. Those funds will actually go to the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation scholarship opportunity for students that need a little bit of extra help when they want to go to the 8th grade field trip. Also sponsors some of the teachers with some of their special activities for some of those resources as well. So it's a great opportunity to go out there. I also know that they are looking for new board members. So if you are interested in taking more of a leadership role in that particular thing for the Education Foundation, this is your opportunity. So go ahead and check them out on their Facebook page. One of the fun things that they get to do is they get to basically sponsor me getting dunked in a water tank. So we did that at the Tomato Festival. And between myself, Chief Baker, Reynoldsburg Athletic Director Andy Moore, and Chris Shook, but mostly his wife who was paying everyone, we ended up raising around, $360, I think is what it was, for the Education Foundation. So that's a pretty decent chunk of change for basically putting me and a bunch of other people in cold water on a very hot day. So something that's always there. I'm sure we'll do that again next year. We also have a really cool fundraiser today. I'm going to pass this along to Jennifer to show up. This is actually a fundraiser for Papa John's for the Reynoldsburg football program. So you can actually go and get some funding. 20% of all the sales will actually go to the Reynoldsburg Football Association. You do need to order online and present all this fun stuff in there, but it's all day long starting from right now until they close tonight. So go ahead and support our Reynoldsburg football team as they get ready to start their season on Friday versus Dublin Jerome. Keep in mind, a lot of other teams have already started playing. I know golf has been out there. I know soccer has been out there. So go on out there and support your Raiders. If you want to, the best way to do it is they actually have a season pass that you can pay for your tickets, and it'll be online. You pay one lump sum, and then you get to go into all of the events for that price. So it's actually really good value to support any of our athletic teams. So check those out. All right, Tomato Festival recap. I hope you all had a good time. I didn't get a chance to talk with you about it last week. I was taking my son to college, and there were a few tears shed. But once we got to about the midpoint between Columbus and Cincinnati, I think we started to appreciate the opportunities of a empty nest house. That's all. Just a lot of fun with that. But this anniversary is next year. But last year we had approximately 27,500 and change actual monitored attendance. Now, keep in mind, you can only click so fast, and especially on that Friday night, I think we probably are, just a little under that one. Probably about 14,000 on that Friday night. But overall, I bet you we were probably at that 28,000 mark, which is huge. Incredibly successful event. We appreciate everybody who participated, from staff to volunteers to the vendors to everybody who ate that delicious food, everybody who was a part of the Tomato Festival process. It's great. I know Jennifer took like 3 or 4 days off, and she's barely here now because that's her big time of the year. But it was a great event. But we are already starting to talk about next year. We actually had a meeting earlier today because, again, next year is the 60th anniversary of the Tomato Festival, and we're going to need a lot of volunteers to make this exactly what we want it to be. So if you are interested in volunteering, please go ahead and shoot a message to us here at the city. I'm sure we'll get some committees formed a little bit later on this year, but there's a lot of things we want to do. And if you have some good ideas of your own, please share them with us. It'd be a great opportunity to get involved in everything. All right, next one is we do have the walk and talk with the mayor. So it's either feast or famine. The first one I had 1 person. The second one I had 0. The next one I had 12. And the last one that I did last week was actually just 1. But I have another event this weekend. This is going to be Bryce Road, north of Main Street at Rosedale. That's where I'm going to start. And I'm going to go ahead and just do a walk in a loop and pick up some trash. And if you would like to join me this Saturday, it's going to be at 10:30 a.m. If you don't know what to look for, just look for me and a trash picker and a garbage bag. Probably not going to be a lot of people out there doing that. So check it out, and then ask a lot of questions. What's been really nice is when we had the one guest with Councilman Salvati last week, lots of really good questions. Everything from talking about housing to talking about development and traffic. We were actually on First Gate, so we could actually see some of the cars and what everybody's dealing with. So it does help provide some information right on the ground there. So you don't have to live on Bryce Road north of Main Street to participate. You can be from anywhere in the city and come on out there and talk to us. It's always it's a good time. I'm glad we're doing it. I'd love to have more than 1 person every now and then, but again, when we got to the 12 people, I knew that that's when we really hit our mark. So make sure you come on out there for that. There's other ones scheduled throughout the rest of the year. We'll go basically 2 a month in September and October. So that's it. So, road update. Anything going on with Wagner Road lately? Anybody? I'm not sure. So Monday, around 4-ish or so, a subcontractor for AEP hit what was thought to be an abandoned gas line. And so obviously, anytime a gas line is struck, everything shuts down because safety is the number 1 key. So we had to shut things down. And of course, if we had to shut things down at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, probably wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But because we had to shut it down right at 4 o'clock, it became this whole other thing. So I want to appreciate to the safety crews that were out there, to our city staff that was out there, to our police force that was out there, and the patience of everybody else who was just trying to figure out a way to get home. We've taken care of that. We weren't planning on it, obviously. We're going to make sure nothing like that happens again. But sometimes weird things happen on a construction site. This just happens to be it. But just to kind of give you an idea, we are completely done with the water line replacement, and we are mostly done, I believe, with all the connections for this new water line. All we're doing now is waiting for Columbus to kind of chlorinate the water and go through that process to make sure it's there. The Columbia Gas is about 30% of the way done with their work. Theirs is a little bit more involved, again, because of, gas lines and things like that. And AEP is mostly done. So what you're going to probably see over the next couple of weeks is you're going to see them come through, and they're going to be kind of taking some of the wires off the tops of the older looking electric poles, and then they're going to basically cut the tops of them off, and the only wires that'll be left are from your Breeze line, your AT&T, Spectrum, that type of stuff. Those companies will then slowly take those on and transfer them over to the other power lines. Those new power lines are already active, so that's already been set in place. But then we have to kind of brace ourselves. We have some big things coming. We know that the bridge that is right past Main Street on Wagner Road, kind of just after the gas station and the shopping center, that bridge is maintained by the Franklin County Corps of Engineers, and it is identified as one of the bridges that needs improvement. So sometime, probably anywhere from the middle of September until October 1st, we don't know yet, we'll know as we get a little bit closer, that bridge is actually going to be completely shut down. Sorry, I was waiting to hear screams. But that bridge is going to be shut down. What they're going to do in the process of this is, obviously you will not have any access northbound on Main Street to Wagner, but everything else on the other side of this bridge, basically from the VFW all the way to Broad Street, is going to open back up, and you'll have north and south access. So for those of you that live in the new MI subdivision, those of you that live in Amelia who have obviously been struggling with this because there's not a lot of work in your area, all of that is going to be open. So this is the first step. It's going to take about 60 days. So for about 60 days, so October, no, so basically through Christmas, that area will be opened up, give or take a little bit of time. All of this is going to be updated on our social media pages within the next couple of days, and as soon as we have a more definitive date of when this is going to happen, we'll do so. I have a pretty picture that you can kind of see that will be there. Now, one thing I will say, there's still a lot of people that are driving the wrong way on Wagner Road, going southbound when the big road closed signs are there. I'm really hopeful that all of you pay attention to the very large road closed signs, because not only is the road closed, the bridge is out, and I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to get your way around that one. So kind of keep in mind of that. This was always expected. This is something that's going to happen. Once that is done, then they're going to be moving to what they call the culverts. These are these little bridges that kind of, across the streams and things of that nature. And so those sections will be addressed at a later point in time. But there's going to be some movement in traffic all the way across. We all know this is coming, so the school district has been made aware of it. We just don't know when exactly it's going to happen. So please be patient with us. As soon as we get the chlorination test back from Columbus and making sure that AEP is out of the area and some of the other utilities, that's when it's going to happen, which again is going to be somewhere between the middle of September and no later than October 1st. So if you have any questions, you know how to reach out to me on social media. I'll be here answering those things. We also have some other things that are going on as well. We have Broad Street improvements that are just getting ready to start. All of this is outside of the city of Reynoldsburg, but for those of you that are curious, it's everything from the 270 to Outer Belt Street, which basically is right across the street from Cane's Chicken. So if you know where Cane's is on Broad Street, it's everything from there to 270. They're going to be doing a lot of the same things that Reynoldsburg is doing as far as, the water line replacement, electric, gas, utility work, and then they'll go through that same process on there to widen the lane significantly. So that's going to be Broad Street, and if you have any questions about that, please call the City of Columbus, because I got nothing else for you other than this one. Other things, the Trivium site that's on the corner where the old Happy Dragon used to be, obviously it is getting closer and closer to opening. We're hoping Labor Day-ish right now. You will notice that all of the concrete work is done. The last thing that has to happen there is the brickwork as far as the external stuff. So once we have a date when they're going to be coming in and doing that, we'll take care of it. Obviously, they'll have to shut down part of the road as they put the brick in, but that should really only take about a day. And most of that work usually is done after rush hour, and they usually are cleaned up and everything and out of the way before rush hour starts in the evenings. But once that opens up, it's going to be a huge thing. Any questions so far? Nothing on Wagner Road yet?
Not yet.
All right, everybody's still in shock. We do have a CODA Link Us meeting. It's actually tonight at the library. So if you are interested in learning more about the CODA Link Us system, that'll be the first public meeting here for the library. The CODA will have some information. They'll actually have some diagrams as well, and they'll answer some questions about what's going on. There will be plenty of other opportunities as well if you can't make it there. And then another thing we have is Unfortunately, my intern from Morpsey, Emma, is already back at school, and she is going to be working in a different capacity with, I think, the Franklin County Commissioner's Office. But amongst many of the things that she did is she and I have been working on over the summer a new category system for traffic control. A lot of communities are kind of moving to this idea where it's an easy way to identify where your street stands as far as traffic and then what those solutions could be. Stop signs, we're supposed to stop there. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about just traffic in general, specifically speeding on traffic. So we're going to be working to kind of coordinate with our police department and our street department to identify which roads are of various categories. You'll probably see a presentation to council on this probably sometime in late September, but it gives an idea. So obviously we know some streets are busier than others. I mentioned First Gate, Bryce Road north of Main. Those are relatively busy roads, so they will probably have a few more options than some other roads that might not have near as much traffic on there. But we worked on that as well. So I'm looking forward to it. It was a lot of work done, and I do thank her for that. She got lucky. She doesn't have to come and present it to council, so maybe she'll pop back in at some point. We also have a new we have a flooding town hall on September 4th, and this is information that is actually going to be really good. We had our briefing yesterday for it about some of the things that the firm has identified about flooding issues in and around the Black Lake Creek area, specifically the neighborhood in Briarcliff and a few other areas. September 4th is the day at the library. It's going to be from 6 to 8 p.m. There's going to be a lot of information there. Probably not going to get all the way into the solutions, but we're definitely going to get into a pretty much idea of identifying what process we can do to make some improvements moving forward. So if you're interested in that, want to be there, please let us know. If you live in the Briarcliff area, you'll probably see a message board out there sometime next week, and then we'll have some things out there as well for all of that. As far as our parks programs, tons of cool things coming up. We've got Adult Prom at Eastside Brewery on September 14th. There is a $25 fee, but that is going to actually pay for a scholarship fund for some students that want to participate in Parks and Rec activities that might need a little bit of financial support with that. So it's a great opportunity to go out to Eastside Brewery. Great beverages. You can also have some slab barbecue out there as well for that. I know barbecue and prom might not necessarily be the most clean version of everything, but trust me, if you've had slab, you know it's worth it. We also have some cool things. Drama Kids is going to be starting up on September 12th, and that's for 6 to 11-year-olds, because if anything that 6 to 11-year-olds need, it's more drama and instruction on how to do it. So hopefully you can participate and have some kids look at that. This Friday, or next Friday, we have our first Friday Food, Flicks, and Fun. The band is going to be the Little Big Band of Columbus, and then the movie is going to be Kung Fu Panda 4, which is always a little bit of fun. So we're really looking forward to that. This is the last one of the year, so if you haven't had a chance to go out there and participate, go ahead and do it. There'll be some food trucks and other activities as well. I'm going to take a deep breath and ask, are there any questions?
All right, Denny.
All right. Bryce Park is actually having some construction, and this is actually a pretty cool deal. They are working and doing some grading for the parking area and the rest of the path, so that work is progressing. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have some bigger news out there. I think the playground equipment and things of that nature are going to be delivered sometime in mid to late September. And now we have the big reveal. A lot of people have been asking, hey, what's going on with the PNC site? What's it going to look like? So we actually have our first renderings of what the building will be on the PNC site. As you recall, it's going to be 4 stories of affordable housing. What you're going to see is basically 4 stories and then the amenity deck. This is the place where everybody goes for whatever fun activities that are there. But you'll see it. I think it's a good-looking building. We're going to continue to work on this. Again, I don't anticipate construction starting until probably late spring, early summer of next year. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and show the first grand reveal of this, of the elevations of this particular building. Again, I think it's really nice. It is something a little bit different as you kind of get closer to the Old Town area, but it's not in the Old Town yet. It's before the bridge. The first floor area that you see there will be some of the either retail or medical office. We're still waiting to see about how all of that works out. So that's what that building will look like. There was a really good article in the Columbus Underground about that location just yesterday or Monday. If you want to check that out at columbusunderground.com. They did a really good article about it, giving some more details with it. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free and share it with us. I will have some other development news next week. It's going to be an interesting one, to be sure, but there's possibly a pretty interesting development that will be coming here to Reynoldsburg that everybody's going to get real high on life on with this one. So there you go. With that, I will kind of move off and talk a little bit about our markets off Main Street. We have 2 more weeks. Can you believe it's only 2 more weeks of markets off Main to go?
I can't.
So we only have 2. And what kind of highlights do we have this week?
Schmidt's Food Truck's going to be there.
Schmidt's
tonight.
Food Truck is going to be there.
We have a new performer, so that's exciting. And we still have some of our vendors that we're just excited that they're continuing to stay with us through the end of the season. So come out and support our local businesses.
It's always a good thing. Come on out; it's a lot of fun. I mean, there's the last time I was there, we ended up getting some sweet corn. Apparently, somebody took a picture of the world's it seemed like the world's largest zucchini. It was just absolutely huge. So that was there, but they'll have some other cool things that are there. There's a lot of really things, and my favorites are the very good desserts that they have there. That I shouldn't be eating, but I have to support the community, so I have to get them and all of that. So we've got that going on. We also have a couple of other really cool events. The 2024 Ohio Fire Marshal Festival is going to be on Saturday, September 14th. And did you know that Reynoldsburg is the home of the Fire Academy? It is just on Main Street, just in between Taylor Road and Summit. You've probably seen it a couple of times out there. But they're going to have a huge event out there. There's going to have a touch a truck. They're going to have a canine fire dog training. There's going to be some fire safety training. Again, a helicopter landing. No, I'm not flying it. And then bounce houses and, of course, face painting. So all of those things are going to be there. It starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's a really cool event, especially when you get your kids out there, take a look at it. And it's long before anything starts with Ohio State football. So it starts at 10 o'clock. So we've got that going for us. Any questions?
Nope.
All right. I'm really sad that there's no questions. Adopt a Road. I did want to make a special shout out to the Lions Club and the Reynoldsburg Area Democrats for doing a great job in participating in the litter cleanup. They have each adopted their own stretch of road. The Lions Club were on Taylor Road, and the Reynoldsburg Area Democrats have been cleaning up Lancaster from Broad Street or from Main Street all the way to the borders. If you or your organization would like to participate and have a sign kind of dedicated to that, please reach out to the city. You have to do it 5 times a year, which these organizations are well on their way to done. I know the Reynoldsburg Area Democrats have hit their 5 and will probably still continue to do it. But it's a great opportunity to go out and pick up trash. We provide the trash pickers, the bags, the really incredibly good-looking fluorescent vests that you can wear with this, so that's a good thing as well. So go ahead and jump on the opportunity for those types of things. So again, thank you to the Lions Club and thank you to the Reynoldsburg Area Democrats. As far as the other one, we've got a cash drop coming up this weekend. The Reynoldsburg Junior Raider Cheer Squad will be out there. They will be cheering for you to give them money. It's always a great opportunity to support some of our groups all the way out there. So I hope you can participate in that. Now, do we have a question?
I did get one come in.
All right, now we go.
It says, what can Reynoldsburg do to encourage passage of Senator Reynolds and Craig's Senate Bill 244 tax relief bill?
So I think the best, that's going to be a Neil Whitman question if I'm guessing. The best way to do that is not only contact Senator Reynolds and Senator Craig and encouraging them that, look who else is on the specific committee for that, for the Housing Committee. If there are any other state representatives or state senators on there, always calling Senator Huffman, who's the president of the Senate. I would suggest making those calls out to them as well to make sure that this gets the committee hearing. For those of you that are not familiar with this would help provide tax relief to some of our senior citizens. We mentioned that there is a levy coming up for Reynoldsburg City Schools, and this might be an opportunity to help provide some tax relief to those senior citizens or those living on fixed incomes, that if the levy does pass, it may not be as impactful to them because, let's be honest, a lot of our senior citizens that are living here in Reynoldsburg, they've done great things for our community, and that might be an opportunity with it.
Another question come in. Could you follow up with the school district? I reported the sign at the Livingston campus has had the clock set to 10 hours. Maybe this must be an hour ahead since school let out. I would think it needs to be reset before students start.
Oops. I'll reach out to them. I know school started today, so we'll get out there. I know that's one of my things too. That's why, because we've talked about having a message board here in the city, and it's one of those things, like one of my big pet peeves, in addition to the shopping cart thing, is, you have something on a message board and then it's still on the message board and the event happened 3 weeks ago. So, but yeah, I get how that could be kind of frustrating. I'll reach out and hopefully if board member Whitman is still on there, he can reach out as well to get that one updated. That's a good one.
Right now.
All right. I know it's kind of a short show today. We did have a lot of information. Again, I will probably post this to the various social media feeds, specifically because of the Wagner Road project and how that is going to be impactful. We will get that information out there as well. But if you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to reach out to us here. Next week, I'm really excited about this. We're going to have Franklin County Treasurer Cheryl Brooks Sullivan come on board. She has been a frequent guest of the show, and she does a lot of good things for the Franklin County community, which obviously includes Reynoldsburg. And you never know, we may have somebody else kind of pop in on that particular show as well. But we have some exciting guests coming up over the next couple of months. We've got some of the school board members coming up. We have some other Franklin County representatives coming up and things of that nature. And I'm going to assume we got a fun question.
Yeah. Do you think the Chicago Bears is going to have a good season?
That is the goal. I am trying to contain myself on my excitement for that one. To be fair, they haven't had really good seasons in the last little bit, so hopefully this will be something that will be there. I'm looking forward to it, just because I am a Chicago Bears fan, so there we go. That's a good question. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Stay safe, stay respectful, and if you have not registered to vote yet, you have plenty of time to do so. Make sure you go out and register. Check your registration to make sure you're still registered, because you just want to make sure in this day and age. As far as the rest of you, everybody stay safe, stay respectful, and as always, please put away your shopping carts. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you this weekend on Saturday off Bryce, north of Maine. We'll see you.